Good morning. My name is Sayyid Yusuf Hashmi and my UHID number is 25013792. In this presentation, I will assess Sulaiman's legal standing under the Sale of Goods Act 1979, evaluating the remedies accessible in response to the delivery or clearly non-conforming goods. In this case, the supplied goods, a couch set, chairs, and tables, have several serious defects with regard to their description, quality, quantity, and suitability for use. Section 13, 14 subsection 2, 14 subsection 3, 30, and 35 of the Act all impose conditions unless expressly or impliedly misapplied. And these violations immediately evoke those requirements in a court of law. The most important issue is whether Suleiman may totally reject the products because of the breaches or if he can uh, just sue for damages. Commercial nature of the transaction necessities. The use of the statutory implied provisions include in sections 12 and 15. The buyer has the right to reject if the product do not match the description, if the quality is not satisfactory, or if the goods are not suitable for use. Unless rejection is made irrational under section 15A. On the other hand, section 15A can only be used for small flaws where rejecting the item would be unfair. As the case of Clegg versus Ole Anderson explains, the right to refuse remains intact even after acceptance or inspection has taken place if there are major or systematic flaws. In this case, the violations are so severe and widespread that a limitation under Section 15A is not possible. The statutory right to refuse is thus clearly maintained. Suleiman requested 25 extra large grey marble tables but received a variety of medium-sized tables made of marble and wood, with only one matching the contractual specification. This is violation of Section 13, which states that goods sold by description must exactly match the description. Arcos Limited versus Ronason established that Section 13 is to be read carefully and that even little variations warranted rejection. In a similar way, in the case of Raymore and Co. versus Landwehr, established that a breach might be shown simply by using the wrong packaging. Similarly, there is a glaring violation of Section 13 as the supply tables do not conform in any way to the terms of the contract. The buyer is not obligated to accept a decreased amount as stated in Section 13, which supplements with analysis there was a shortage and additional uncontracted or for commodities in the shipment. While Bros versus Shipton and Anderson affirms that the buyer has the right to reject the entire shipment in the event of a mixed or non-conforming consignment. The legislative right of rejection is instantaneous and unqualified. Therefore, Suleiman is not obligated to accept, separate, or pay for the partial or non-conforming items. The quality of commodities delivered in the course of business must be satisfactory or as stated in section 14 subsection 2. The chairs were delivered with stains, scratches, and other flaws that exceeded realistic expectations, despite their description of minimal wear and tear. In section 14, subsection 2A, an objective norm that takes description, pricing, and circumstances into account is codified. According to the court's ruling in Rogers versus Parrish, a buyer's reasonable expectations might be undetermined by even seemingly little flaws, making the products inadequate. The case of Bratlet versus Sydney Marcus Limited upholds the principle that seller responsibility is straightened when flaws are not disclosed. The issue with the quality are clear, significant, and can be addressed. In addition, as stated in section 14, subsection 3, the seller must assure that the items are sufficiently suitable for the intended use. The vendors specifically guaranteed appropriateness when Suleiman voiced his worry over his daughter's delicate skin. Griffiths versus Peter Conway Limited. A seller can be held liable for an inappropriate product if they knew the buyer's intent and relied on that information. As established in the sofa is clearly unsuitable, as shown by the allergic response according to Godley versus Perry. Products that cause bodily damage are considered to be of inadequate quality and unfit for purpose. The impact of inspection and acceptance is defined in section 35. Suleiman conducted a decent, concentrated inspection by looking at only one small sample package. According to section 35, subsection 2, acceptance does not occur until the buyer has had a reasonable chance to inspect the goods. Therefore, receiving a delivery does not constitute acceptance because of how quickly problems might be found and how quickly an allergic response can happen. Implied acceptance is not an option. Clegg versus Ole Anderson reaffirmed that the right to refuse is unaffected by interim inspections in the case of substantial faults. Add the infractions of sections 13, 14 subsection 2, 14 subsection 3 and 30 together, and you have a fundamental violation of statutory requirements that strikes to the heart of the contract. Rather than being small or technical, these flaws significantly deviate from the requirements of the contract as a result. As a result, Suleiman can reject the whole shipment, get his money back, and refuse to pay for anything that isn't there or doesn't meet his standards. He also has the right to seek the damages or for operating delays, replacement expenses, and injuries as a result of constitutional law. Constitutional law has determined by Hadley versus Baxendale. Last but not least, there is no denying that the vendor has repeatedly violated the statutory implied conditions by their actions. Uh, in the event of any breach, whether individual or cumulative, Suleiman is entitled to reject the products and seek damages. The seller assertion that the order cannot be cancelled is legally incorrect, since the right to reject is derived from the seller's failure to execute, not from the cancellation clause in the contract. Suleiman has a clear right to reject, get his money back, and seek damages under the Sale of Goods Act 1979 of English Sales Law. Therefore, his stance is not only doctrinally sound but also procedurally enforceable. Thank you.